Good afternoon, Goldsworthy. I hope you all had a good morning and you've done lots of hard work with Mrs. K. I'm sure you've done absolutely brilliantly and made our class community really proud. I hope we've got some of those little shiny yellow balls in that jar for people who've been shining brightly. If you haven't, then try this afternoon really hard and see if we can get some of those little balls of light into that jar. Now, it's our third art lesson today, and the other day I meant to bring in a whole load of lovely vegetables and apples for you to have a go at drawing, but I haven't been able to do that. So, because you haven't got vegetables and fruit in the garden there that we can easily get at, we're going to have to use leaves. Now, our lesson this afternoon, our Walt, is to, we are learning to draw leaves and add some colour to them. Okay, so that's what we're going to be learning to do this afternoon. And we are going to be using and practicing the skills that we taught you on Monday and Mrs. Wilmot taught you on Tuesday, which was how we can use pencils to make different marks. Do you remember you tried seeing how many different ways you could make your pencil work by shading it and pressing it hard and pressing it lightly? And then on Tuesday, Mrs. Wilmot was working with you on looking really closely at whatever you're looking at and not just thinking you can see it, what you can see, but actually what you can see, and going back and looking again and again and improving your picture. So we're going to have a little practice. Now, what I'm going to get you to do is to go out and collect some leaves. Mrs. K may already have got you to collect leaves, in which case that's fine. Otherwise, you're going to need to stop the video here and go and get some leaves so that you're ready for the next bit of the lesson. So I went out into my garden and I collected 2 leaves. I've got a chard leaf, which is rather pretty because it's got a red stem. And I've got a cucumber leaf, which looks a bit like some of those tree leaves that we collected. Now I'm going to put them down here on my little makeshift table that I've got down here. And I'm going to kneel down on the carpet so that you can see what I am doing. So the first thing is that we need to think about doing a little sketch. And I had a little go at drawing my cucumber leaf there, and you can see that my first effort is not too bad, but I think I could do a bit better than that because I think up here I've made that too big. I'm quite pleased with this bit down here because I've looked really closely at the edges of this leaf and got those little wiggly bits in, but this top bit is not right. So I'm going to have another go at drawing that. And I'm going to use my pencil very lightly, so I'm not going to press too hard. And I'm going to have another go at drawing it. And I'm going to be looking really carefully at all the little bits on this leaf. So let me have another go. So I'm going to look, there's a little twiddly bit up there. And then we're going to come down here. So I'm following down the edge here. And then there's this little dip and a pointy bit. Keep going. I'm going to go out along here. Then down, and it drops in a bit. Then we've got a couple of little wiggles. It comes down again, and then across. Oh, and it's got a couple of little wiggly bits there. And then we're going up, and here's these wiggly bits here, which I did earlier. So that's not too bad. Then I'm going to leave that out of the way for a minute. Then I'm going to come down here. Now I'm following around the bottom here. There we are, going round, there's that little point, go up this side, and then I'm going to go across here, and it's got a few little dimply bits up across that bit, and all the way up to there. Now it's still not perfect, and I might, if I had time, have yet another go. I'm going to add some little details now. I'm going to use my pencil very lightly and put some little tiny lines there. And then I've got all these lovely veins, but I'm not just going to put them on any old how. Okay, I'm going to look really carefully so I can see that one goes all the way to the top to the bottom. So I'm going to do that. And it's not just a single line, it's wider than that. Very lightly, I'm going to do another line. Then I've got that one out there. Starts about halfway up. So do that one. Then I've got another one here that starts right at the bottom and it goes up like that. And that one's a bit thinner, so I'm just going to do... And then off those, there are lots of extra little lines which I could add in time, but then I'm going to do that one, which is a bit thinner. And that finishes a little bit higher. There's another one that comes down to the bottom. Another one that comes out there. And there's several more. And I could go on looking very carefully and adding those to add my detail so that I end up with a really detailed drawing. So that's the first thing that I want you to do. On your page, with your where your Walt is, okay, you're going to put several pictures of your leaf and I want to see them improve as you go through the afternoon. So have a go. You might want to do 1 or 2 different ones and then we'll come back and look at them. So pause for a minute. Okay, so once you've had a go at drawing your leaf or leaves, you should have several on your page, perhaps your first effort, then a more detailed one. We're then going to have a go at adding some colour. Now it's really important that you have a really careful look at the leaves and the colour. Now if I was doing this charred leaf, I think that those 2 colours are pretty good for that leaf. This one, it's not quite so good, but I haven't got another green at the moment, so I'm going to manage with this. Now, as you look at this green leaf, you can see that the veins are really light and the rest of it is darker. So I'm going to try very carefully shading. And remember how we shaded? By keeping our pencil going in the same direction. You might want to actually practice that. You might find it's easier to put the pencil right on the side to shade, but you need to keep it going in the same direction. So I'm going to shade in the parts of my leaf, being really careful to keep it on the inside of the lines. And I'm not going to go on to my veins. I'm going to leave those for now and I'm going to come back to those in a minute once I've finished shading that in. Okay, and then I'm going to try and find a lighter green one from the drawer over there to see if I can do the rest of it. Okay, so I've managed to find a lighter green for my veins. It's not very sharp, but it'll do. So I'm now going to colour in the veins on my leaf very carefully with my lighter green. And that starts to add a bit of detail to my drawing, and I can even do the stalk. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to go back and draw your leaf again. Okay, so you need another picture of the same leaf. So this time you'll draw it even better, and then you're going to find some coloured pencils and see if you can draw a leaf and then add some colour to it, looking very carefully at the colours. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do. Let's hope that you have some lovely sheets with lots of different leaves drawn, well, the same leaf but drawn lots of times, and getting better and better with a final one with colour on it. Okay, and don't be afraid to keep having goes. It'll get better and better as you go on. Have fun!